Starting in the name of Allah, the most merciful, mighty and gracious to all. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, and welcome to the class of Business Research Methods. Students, today we are going to discuss the 9th lecture. In this lecture we will discuss the research design. If you remember, we started from the research process, and I told you that research process contains the various steps. Now research design, it is the 6th step of your research process. If you remember, we started from the first step of research process, and that was observation, or simply stated, that was broad area of research where the researcher interest identified. Then upon completion of our broad problem area or observation step of a research process, we move toward the 2nd step, and that was preliminary data gathering, where we discuss the 2 components under the preliminary data gathering. That was the interviewing or the preliminary interview and the literature review. Then we discuss the 2 parts of literature review. One was the literature survey, and another that was literature conduct, or how to write up the literature review. Upon completion of our 2nd step, we move toward the 3rd step, and that was problem definition. Problem definition, or sometimes problem statement, where the researcher research problem delineated, or where the researcher will identify the real problem, the symptoms of the problem, mention the original, the genuine problem. And problem definition is basically that define the real problem. Upon completion of that step, we move to the next stage, and that was theoretical framework. Already we have discussed in detail that what is theoretical framework. Theoretical framework, it's simply a conceptual framework or a conceptual order where we identified the variables, and we have studied so many variables: dependent variable, independent variables, moderating variables, intervening variables, and then clearly we identified, they're labeled, that how these variables are interconnected, what are the logic behind those interconnections. Once we completed our theoretical framework, we also completed the schematic diagram, and then we started the generation of hypothesis. We developed the different types of hypothesis. We discuss that what are hypotheses and why hypotheses are important, and what are the different types of hypothesis: directional hypothesis, non-directional hypothesis, if-else directional hypothesis, null hypothesis, alternative hypothesis. After that, once the hypotheses are cleared, now in the research process, our next, the 6th step, that is scientific research design. Now upon completion of all these 5 different stages in the research process, we are going to move to start our next stage, and that is research design. What is research design? Simply stated, if you focus on the word research and design, so research already we discussed, and simply that is a design. It means design a research, state a research, formulate a research, structure a research, or simply roadmap of a research. Research design is basically a blueprint of a research. Like I said, when we construct a home, a house, we have clear a map, and when we construct the house we definitely construct with according to a map. نو څنګه موږ کور جوړو کنه نو کور د لپاره موږ ته یو بلوپرینټ یو نقشه پکاري، هغه نقشې په مطابق کور کنسټرکټ کیږي. سیم از د کیس چې ریسرچر کله فور ایگزامپل ریسرچ ډیزاین کوي نو هغه لپاره یو نقشه پکاري. ا نقشه چې کومه ده that is simply known as your research design. Later on inshallah we will discuss more about research design. What is research design? We will have different elements under research design. Elements mean some more components. Simply stated that what we will discuss clear under the research design. Research design के further कम components रजी आगे तमुंगो elements of research design. और खुदा गुरुची research design देस. Research design refers to the outline or plan or strategy specifying the procedure to be used in answering research questions. Simply stated, research design is a plan, or it is a way that where we identified that how we have to answer our questions. What are the different ways, what are the different procedures, what methodologies we have to use, what real outlines we have to use to research our questions. So that is simply known as your research design. Now it encompasses many issues. Many issues mean it encompasses on various sub stages. Aha kam stages di ab zeta sula delta diagram ki clear kama. That is tasu sara stages. Let me explain here. Slide change shi. That is tasu sara research design stages. Further zeta sula bia clear koma. Say shwa next slide ki. Now we need to decide on the different choices. Among whatever for example choice na istifada ko say shwa what type of study we want to conduct. Contributive study kaval wadu, non-contributive study kaval wadu, one shot study kaval wadu, longitudinal study kaval wadu, observation interview method wadu, a questionnaire based method kaval, whatever the choice we have. So under the research design, according to the need of the research, we have to use different choices. Not all choices thi. Ab research kam de, hope inshallah a bit idea will be clear. Now the next we will discuss chikala hum researcher research design develop kai. So what the different aspects he has to study. Aha kam cheezuna gori. Now let's start. To decide for any given situation, the researcher must focus on the type of investigation needed. Simply means chikala hum research design research se para develop ki. No researcher chikam de awal aha investigation type kuri. So what type of investigation we required? Matlab simply stated, what is the purpose of the research? Aya research purpose se de. Aya research descriptive purpose se para ki lagi. Aya research chikam de aha exploratory purpose se para ki. Aya research chikam de aha hypothetical testification de para ki. Ya aya research chikam de that is a correlational or causational study. So first of all, when the researcher design the research design, he must clear focused on what type of investigation required clear for the solution of the result. So the first step clear that under the research design is the type of investigation. Don't worry, har yo pabarak ki inshallah detailed discussion ko which type of investigation they ke further we have so many further concepts. अब इसका थोड़ा detail की explain करूँगा. That सिर्फ और सिर्फ your roadmap दे. So when researcher design the research, no the research design दे पारा दा चिकले develop की गी no researcher कम point टू न ज़हन के साथी. No first point कम यो दे the type of investigation required. Second, the study required, or simply stated that is known as the study setting. The study setting it means che aya the lab oriented study da non lab oriented field study da contrived with the way or non contrived with the way aya the real environment ki conduct ki karna aya the for example artificial environment ki setting ki. Then we have the extent of researcher interference. Simply means studying events as the normally occur or required manipulation. It means چې یو ریسرچر چې کوم دی کوم چې هغه فور ایگزامپل یو ریسرچ لپاره ویریبلز آئیډینټیفائی کړی دي نو هغه ویریبلز باندې د ریسرچر انټرفیرنس سوره دی مطلب ریسرچر افیکټ سوره دی دینه علاوه آیا یو ریسرچر چې کوم دی هغه سوره انفلوئنس دی ریسرچ کې مطلب سوره ویریبلز هغه کنټرول کولای شي لکه زه تاسو یو ایگزامپل درکوم سپوز زه وایم چې زه د لایټ انټنسټي یا لایټ افیکټ چې کوم دی صحیح شو I want to check the light effect on the employee's behavior یا employee's productivity نو ګوره اوس لایټ چې کومه ده صحیح شو روشنی چې کومه ده they impact د کتل غواړه ما په employee productivity باندې یا په employee behavior باندې suppose صحیح شو چې productivity ووالو اوس که زه د لایټ زیاتومه که لایټ کمومه is it نو دا څه دی I am controlling the light نو اوس د لایټ څه دی په دې باندې زما څه انفلوئنس دی صحیح شو زه یې لګې کنټرول کومه I can control نو اوس داسې ویریبلز چې هغوی باندې ریسرچر کنټرول سوري صحیح شوه یا یو ریسرچ کې د ریسرچر انټرفیرنس سوره دی سو هیر انشاءالله وی ول ډسکس دیٹ تھنگ بیا چې دی وی هاو یونٹ اف انالیسس اب یونٹ اف انالیسس څه دی یونٹ اف انالیسس سمپلی مین انالیسس study of the units ګوره ریسرچر کله هم چې موږ ریسرچ کوو کنه نو هغې دپاره ډیفینیټلی موږ اوورال پاپولیشن خو نشو سټډي کولی when we conduct a research that is very much difficult to study the whole population so then what happened definitely we have to get help from the sample data تاسو پته هم ده چې population او sample څه ته وایي چې population تاسو aggregate value ده totality ده او د totality نه کله چې موږ یو ورکوټی غونې پارټ راوالو for study that is known as sample اوس ګوره د sample خو موږ اخلو we have to select a sample we have to study sample लेकिन उस द sample के what we have to select we have to study a single individual यो नफर study दा या we have to study the group as a group मुंगे study को या मुंगो for example double कसानो study को dads with away सही शो मुंगो से को आया मुंगो यो culture study को आया मुंगो यो overall organization study को आया मुंगो यो overall department study को so all these are known as our units if you want to select clear an individual for study so the individual is your unit if you want to compare two organizations with one another so the both organizations are known as your unit the units if you want to compare two departments so the departments will be known as your unit if you want to compare clear your for example culture so then culture becomes your unit so all these are known as your unit अब now researcher must study clear the units so what unit is more clear specific for his or her study now that come a study that is known as unit of analysis hope inshallah beta idea will be clear रात को inshallah देखिए वो डिटेल के साथ एक्सप्लेनेशन हम दरकोमा हर यो माने ना खो सिर्फ यो रोड मैप दरकोमा कि कल हम रिसर्च डिजाइन कीगी नो कम पॉइंट्स थी कि रिसर्चर आगे माने फोकस की नेक्स्ट पॉइंट है द टाइम हॉरिजन ऑफ द स्टडी अब पूरा टाइम हॉरिजन मतलब क्या है कि आया वन शॉट स्टडी पका रहा था क्रॉस सेक्शनल स्टडी रिक्वायर्ड दे या आया लॉन्गिट्यूडनल स्टडी पका रहा अब क्रॉस सेक्शनल स्टडी मतलब वन शॉट स्टडी वन टाइम स्टडी सही हुआ या लॉन्गिट्यूडनल स्टडी पका रहा था लॉन्गिट्यूडनल सिंपली मीन्स बिफोर एंड आफ्टर स्टडी पका रहा था बिफोर फॉर एग्जाम्पल इम्पैक्ट हो और आफ्टर इम्पैक्ट से दे या पहला लेट्स सपोज बिहेवियर से एम्प्लॉय प्रोडक्टिविटी से सही फुला ट्रेनिंग न पहला और उस चे कम दे ट्रेनिंग मिला हुआ नो ट्रेनिंग न पास बस बिफोर एंड आफ्टर स्टडी नो उस नाउ द रिसर्चर हैव टू स्टडी दैट व्हिच टाइप स्टडी दे रिक्वायर्ड नो दैट कम चे व्हिच टाइप ऑफ स्टडी दे रिक्वायर्ड सही फुला रेलेवेंट टू टाइम दैट इज नोन एज टाइम हॉरिजन ऑफ द स्टडी and then we have to identify मतलब researcher will identify that whether a causal or a correlation study would be more appropriate in a given situation अब देखिए ना गोरी researcher she आया causal will be more good or correlation will be more good और इंशाल्लाह देखिए बोलूँगा difference हम गुरु से causal और correlation के तो फर्क थे और correlation को तो already stats के वाले हमने correlation study आगा study ना चिकम की मुंगा गुरु that what are the relationship between the variables मतलब कि देखिए यो डिपेंडेंट वेरिएबल दे और डिपेंडेंट वेरिएबल सही हुआ आगा लगे डिपेंड कीगी ऑन डिफरेंट इंडिपेंडेंट वेरिएबल्स यानी फॉर एग्जांपल उस स्टडी दा अब स्टूडेंट स्टडी चकम दे या स्टूडेंट प्रोडक्टिविटी इट डिपेंड्स अपॉन ऑन सो मेनी फैक्टर्स अब all the independent factors will having some impact clear या relationship with the dependent variables सही हुआ so that is simply known as your correlational अगर स्टडी चिकम के सिर्फ और सिर्फ मुंगा रिलेशनशिप गुरु correlation guru among the variables is known as correlation study while we have a causal study मतलब दादे for example we have different independent variables अब यो independent variable दास दे चे basically that is affecting clear more the dependent variable मतलब dependent variable की चे कम behavior की change रावरी सही अगर सिर्फ और सिर्फ यो variable दिलासा रची that is the real cause जक देता वही that is causal relationship now उस researcher will find out कि आया our study is correlational study या our study is a causal या cause and effect study देता cause and effect study हम वही don't worry later on inshallah we will discuss all points in detail the sirf or sirf mata sala yo overview darkro कि when researcher design the research clear design for the research so what the points clear he has in his or her mind so the researcher first investigate about the type of investigation then they study the study settings then the interference and then unit of analysis then they study the time factor clear of the study and then they identify the cause and effect study or it's a correlational study as I told you research design that basically encompasses on many issues संगमा सा वक्त पॉइंट क्यों हुए कि पूरा रिसर्च डिजाइन चुकम दे देखे नो हम डेर ज्यादा सब स्टेजेस दी नो आह कम सब स्टेजेस दी व्हाट आर दोस डिफरेंट इश्यूज these are the different issues दब इंशाल्लाह मुम कवर कऊ under your research design के अब let's start from the first चिलक अवल ज़त्ता थोड़ा हल्का explain कमा सिंगा माता सोवे चुकुरा अवल under the research design the first thing the researcher must have to focus that is purpose of the study मास्ता तो वक्त हम हुए च आया researcher दा गुरी च दा research दे हदफ से what is the main aim what is the main object of their study and it means what I want to explain in this study yeah what this study this research will explain what is the research कला हमने दा सिर्फ और सिर्फ जान दे पारा नहीं self satisfaction process ना दे research से दे research is basically a body of knowledge researcher चकला हम research की कहना दा basically नोरो दे पारा body of knowledge create की नोरो दे पारा further knowledge create की ताकि आने वाला चकम खलक दे अगोई दे पारा पोहा ही पके अगोई फर्दर चकम दे आगे मने एक्सपेरिमेंट को लेशी नो मतलब रिसर्च प्रॉब्लम सॉल्यूशन नेम खुदे लेकिन रिसर्च चकम दे आगा नूर कसान होता सचुरा फ्यूचर पब्लिक का पोटेंशियल चकम पब्लिक दे आगे दे पारा नूरम लारा क्लियर की नो उस ता कम च रिसर्चर रिसर्च की या कला हम चमुंग रिसर्च को नो जमुंग से हदफी चदा रिसर्च मुंग बोले को या दर जमा कम रिसर्च दे सचुआ दा बो फर्दर बॉडी ऑफ नॉलेज सचुला सब क्रिएट की या दा मा जमा कम रिसर्च दे दा बो पब्लिक ला सचुला कम यो हदफ बो क्लियर की नो हा हदफ एक्सप्लोरेटरी हम की दिशी इट कैन बी डिस्क्रिप्टिव इट कैन बी हाइपोथेसिस टेस्टिंग कोरिलेशनल हम की दिशी काजेशनल हम की दिशी व्हाटएवर आफ्टर दैट वी हैव टाइप्स ऑफ इन्वेस्टिगेशन एज आई टोल्ड यू रिसर्चर विल एस्टैब्लिश the causal cause and effect relationship or they will identify the correlational study or they will also identify the group differences rank system chekam de सही हुआ akasanga ch correlation de da se mumkin sara your rank system hum de da hum your correlation de सही हुआ लेकिन that is known as your Sparksman's correlation देखिए कि चकम correlation दे अगर बेसिकली पर ranking सत्ता माने की correlation के सही हुआ चकला मुख सरा मैट्रिक्स वेरिएबली निबे मुक्ता कोरिलेशन मतलब डायरेक्ट मुख कोरिलेशन रो बासु लेकिन कल च मुख सरा कैटेगोरिकल वेरिएबल थी लाइक फॉर एग्जांपल जेंडर कलर सही हो दारकम नॉन मैट्रिक वेरिएबल नो ब्याच दे मुंगा रैंक सिस्टम माने कोरिलेशन रो बासु होप इंशाल्लाह बिट आइडिया विल बी क्लियर नेक्स्ट वी हैव एक्सटेंट ऑफ researcher interference as I told you initially that is the interference of the researcher upon the variables, or simply stated, the control. Like we have two types of study: lab study and experiment, for example, study. Now, us experiment study da the researcher control that is more as compared to field experiment. Now, field experiment for example, the researcher interference as compared to lab experiment. Now, it explains the minimal studying events as they normally occur manipulation. Aya chikam munga lab experiment ko seshwa no alta ho definitely manipulation buziyati. Manipulation matlab control seshwa mudakhalat ch warta wayo. Lekin kam ch real environmental setting de seshwa age ke interference researcher jide abadir kami. Then under the study settings, as I told you, one is contrived and one is non-contrived. Up contrived and non-contrived. Maqas experimental based and lab based. Matlab field based study, experiment based study. Then we have measurement and measures. Simply means operational definitions. Up what is operational definitions? What are operational definition? It means that operate your concept. What a concept matlab simply variables. There are variables that they are abstract in nature. Abstract in nature simply means we don't have the capacity clear to measure them directly. Like I suppose that that's height, that's weight. Sayshwa? No, that's height, that's weight, sayshwa, then that's mass. That come there, sayshwa, that tool that's power, that surah hum variable di, that directly measurable di. Like that's the way if I want to say to you that I want to measure your height, so definitely I have a measuring tool. Sayshwa? The measuring tape chikam de, sayshwa, din is taso height maluma walasham. And for example, when I want to measure your weight, so definitely again I have a tool that is measuring weight, for example, weighing machine. So with the help of the weighing machine, I can definitely measure your weight. So weight, height, that's tool city. All these are your variables, construct, which we can directly measure. Like some of the variables, directly we are not able to measure them directly. So then what happened? Indirectly we have to measure. We have to use some techniques, and then we have to broken down their measurement into different steps. So that step is known as your operational definition. Don't worry, later on inshallah operational definition is example clear kuma properly. Chide hadaf sade sirf dal tajda yaad sathi ye overview dar kuma be inshallah har yo chide like a one by one chide the detail explanation dar kuma. Usko operational definition simply matlab da de when we have variables and we are not able to measure them directly, we will measure clear them indirectly. So then our first step will be operational definition. Basically variable operationally define shi dimension and elements ki clear shi. So then har yo element or dimension mane mung so question ko we have to make some statements. Ab those statements require some logic, and with the help of those logics we have to measure. Now basically measurement ko kana we use some scales, and that technique is known as scaling technique. Hope inshallah bit idea will be clear. Ab agui de para we have to use different categories, or we have to use some codes as well. Later on inshallah we will discuss in detail. Then we have feel for data, we have some goodness of data. Ab feel for data or goodness of data, it means the reliability of the data, the validity of the data. Being a the researcher chikalama data collect karala usu gurama aya the data reliable da kinada. Like I said, that's the way I suppose chigura I want to check your temperature. Just after temperature check wal warama. Ugura temperature check wal de para I have to use a machine, I have to use an instrument, I have to use a tool. That tool is thermometer. Ab aya temperature check walo de para taba check walo de para temperature is a valid instrument. No tasu mamata how sir ji thermometer sar mung temperature check kulu. It means to check the temperature we need an instrument, and that is thermometer. So thermometer is a valid instrument. No chekam hum data mung collect ko. No aya collection de para we have to use clear some instruments. Now wal mung da guru che aya these instruments are valid or not. That is known as validity. Biya mung guru che aya da kam che instrument mung istifada kare. It can be a test hum ki dishi, interview hum ki dishi, taso questionnaire hum ki dishi. No us bura de test questionnaire or taso che kam interview de mung reliability ke tal wadu. Ab what is reliability? Dalta yobal concept rafi. Reliability means consistency. Che aya sura consistent da mala measurement rakai. Whatever we are measuring, we are consistent in our measuring, or not we are not consistent in our measuring. So that is known as clear goodness of data. So your data munga reliability and validity ka tal wadu. Ya inshallah detail ki discussion hum kahu goodness of data mane. Then again same hypothesis justification. Already I explained to you what is hypothesis justification. Hypothesis justification simply hypothesis justification. When we are in doubt, kala mung te shaki sahi shwa ya dwa statements che kam de, for example agui che de agui ki tazadi. Like suppose yo kasan wai che males are very much good driver, or bal yo dala wai che males are not good driver. Ab gura dalta contrast te khabaro ke che males are good driver, yo dala wai yo literature review wai bal wai che males are not good driver. Us gura there is a confusion state. Sahi shwa that do different rai di. No now chekala do different rai di matlab mutafiq na de confusion de. So then I have to use hypothesis justification. Usno awalu guram de boya ma che males are not good driver. Sahi shwa ya males are good driver. Or by the data collect kama. Hypothesis justification will start here. Now we have simply the data collection method. We have time horizon, as I told you, one shot study, cross-sectional study, say sure. We have sampling design, probability and non-probability samples. We have unit of analysis, population to study. Explain them. Say sure how you see. That like part of the sampling design was just explain. What is sampling design? Population to study the population whole universe, that is not possible. We need samples. अब samples चिकला मुंग select को न उद्दे के researcher दागुरी च आया ज probability sampling उकम का non probability sampling उकम. अब probability sampling कई if let's suppose जमुंग intention चिकम दे आगा generalizability दा. Generalizability मतलब दा दे च जमुंग concept चिकम दे आगा पर inferences माने डेर ज़्यादा. सही हुआ? मतलब on the sample data बारे मुंगा predictions चिकम दे सही हुआ inferences चिकम दे आगा population parameter दे पारा apply कवल हुआड़ू सही हुआ it means our results based on the generalizability no ब्या हो definitely according to the need of the research we need probability sampling non probability sampling हम generalizability कीगी लेकिन आगे चिकम scope ते आगा लग कम शी उसको what is probability sampling and what is non probability sampling. Chances of occurrence. Probability simply means that come researcher, for example, researcher chekala hum zanda sample ya unit study ki no aya agoi chances of occurrence chekam de seshwara ya probability chekam da aga same da kana the same. If it is same, probability. If it is not same, not probability. Simple random sampling je bartamayo. Then discuss about the sample size. In tas to pata hum da jo what is sample size stats ki mata thora teach kari humni. Chigura har your population chide sechura it require it basically comprises on some elements. Of the totality, the quantity, the amount of those elements in a population is known as your population size, capital N. While from each of the population we require different samples. Every sample contains clear some subjects, and those subjects are simply known as your sample size, small n means capital N shows the population size, small n shows the sample size. Then we discuss time horizon, the humata already explain him. Us now your part is data collection method. What is data collection? Gura researchers come de, as I told you, data collect ki. No data collect ki ya khabo abo observation क्लियर की मुशाहिदा च वर्त वयो डायरेक्ट और इनडायरेक्ट ऑब्जर्वेशन की देशी या आगा च कम द डिफरेंट टेक्निक इंटरव्यू न कलेक्ट की देशी सही शुआ या आगा क्वेश्चनियर न कलेक्ट की देशी सही शुआ so us observation interview questionnaire sexual physical measurement unobstructive sexual all these are the data collection tools or data collection method sirf I have explained clear a research design to you जो वक्त अवलने स्लाइड के I told you कि research design comprises on different issues आहा कम issues दी आहा दा issues दी या simply stated गोरा research process च कम दे it contains various steps अवल ऑब्जर्वेशन स्टेप या ब्रॉड प्रॉब्लम एरिया दोम प्रिलिमिनरी डेटा गैदरिंग या लिटरेचर रिव्यू द्रयम प्रॉब्लम डेफिनेशन सलोरम थ्योरेटिकल फ्रेमवर्क पिंजम हाइपोथेसिस शपगम चिकम दे दैट इज रिसर्च डिजाइन उस द ओवरऑल चिकम दे रिसर्च डिजाइन दैट इज द 6th स्टेप क्लियर इन द रिसर्च प्रोसेस अब व्हाट कम्स अंडर रिसर्च डिजाइन these are the different issues comes under your research design. Hope inshallah a bit idea will be clear. So that was just a roadmap that what basically the researcher do under the research design. Now we will start one by one in detail. उस चीज़े यो चिकम दे अब मुंग detail के वही. Now our first is the purpose of the study. दा बज़ उस्तासुला अवल एक्सप्लेन कमा जे पर्पस ऑफ द स्टडी नबो मुंग स्टार्ट वाल दा सिर्फ उस पूरे मातासुला रोड मैप सिर्फ क्लियर करो जो रिसर्च डिजाइन देस और रिसर्च डिजाइन के व्हाट वी बेसिकली स्टडी या देता मुंगा वयू द डिफरेंट एलिमेंट्स अंडर द रिसर्च डिजाइन